Thou who see the door art chosen. In thine exodus from thine own life, make sacrifice who thou used to be. Forsake thy memories, forsake thine identity, to be born anew.
What does God look like? What do you see?
We're solar-powered biological AI.
Wait, what?
These ancient adversarial entities, I think it's the very same ones that rebelled against God and were cast out.
They were sent here to guide us in antiquity, and they took advantage of that and just masqueraded as gods. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Greypilled Podcast. I am your host, Jules, the handsome Hierophant, the Mississippi mystic, sound scientist, Elohim etymologist, all that good stuff. Guys, we got a banger episode for you today, but before we get started, be sure to like the stream, share the stream, get some more people in here, share it with your friends and family. Maybe not your family. Well, it depends how schizo your family is. Like I said, got a banger episode for you today. I am joined, you could call him a co-host of the show by this point, our friend Nick from the Occult Rejects. Nick, what's going on, man? How you doing today?
Good. How are you? I'm doing well this morning so far.
Glad to have you here with us.
Thank you. Yeah, this should be fun.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And the guest of the hour, the Jarl of the Greyhorn Pagans, Stijn, what's going on, brother? It's good to have you here, and thank you for coming back and hanging out with us here on Greypilled. How you doing?
For sure, it's my pleasure. This is the third time, right? If I'm not mistaken. Yeah. No, thanks for having me back, man. I'm always happy to to talk about the gods, talk about the mythologies and everything connected to it. I mean, it's it's what I do. So
yeah. No, that's something that me and you have in common. Over the past couple of years, I've had Elohim etymology, focusing on the Sumerian pantheon. Sumerian, it kind of like goes into the Assyrian, the Akkadian, the Babylonian, all that, but it all stems from the Sumerian. Then me and Headless Giant have Rustic Gods, which focuses on the Greek pantheon, and we have Gods of the Morning Wood. More or less, we focus a lot on the Norse pantheon, because we read a lot of, well, we're starting right now to get into the Volsunga saga. We spin a wheel and we let the wheel kind of guide us to where we're going, but sometimes I force the hand, which I have done when I want to. Because it is a Patreon show, guys. If you want to support the show, we are doing Gods of the Morning Wood tomorrow morning. So it didn't happen this morning because we have this show right now, but that will be tomorrow morning. Go over to patreon.com/greypilledpodcast. But Stijn, for people who don't know who you are or haven't caught our past episodes, tell people a little bit about yourself and what you do talk about.
Sure. Yeah, I go by Stijn Fawkes on the internet. I am the host of the Greyhorn Pagans Podcast, Jarl of the tribe of the Greyhorn Pagans. We really focus ourselves on the Northern European pantheon, the Northern European gods, the Norse gods, Germanic, a little bit of Irish and Anglo-Saxon in there as well. And I really take that from every aspect, every angle that I can, whether that be, occult, esoteric, history, just, trying to uncover the lost history of my people and really try to reconstruct it best I can while, try to answering what for me is the most important question, is how to be a proper 21st century pagan. Because to know the old ways and all is all fine and dandy, but we're no longer living in those times. So how do we adapt it to these times? And that's what it's one of the things that I'm trying to figure out while, trying to figure out what this world actually is and how it actually, connects and all of that. So yeah, that's what I do in a nutshell.
Absolutely. That's awesome, man. I'm just looking at you. I completely forgot you had a merch store, dude. I have to get me some merch.
Yeah, no, I do. I do. Yes.
Yeah. And, people are given this one lens of kind of the story of the Northern, of that heritage, right? Of that certain mythology. I think it is healthy, especially to look at it from an unbiased perspective, if not a perspective of someone who does, practice those traditions and venerates these gods, because, it's not everything that we're told it is,
No, definitely not. I mean, you'll have a lot of shows, a lot of movies, the Marvel movies have kind of dipped into Norse mythology. How they portray the gods is, I mean, visually, yeah, it's really cool. It's highly inaccurate, but it's, it looks cool. And, I guess that's, what Marvel is about. It just has to look cool. There goes my phone. Sorry, guys.
Dude, it's either phones or screaming kids, or usually if Headless is on, there's a very loud car going by.
Yeah, you got a racetrack by his house.
Yeah, okay. Well, there you go. So yeah, there's always something, dude. So no, it's fine. It's fine.
I knew that was going to happen.
It's okay.
Anyway, yeah, Hollywood depictions. I mean, to be honest, my awakening to all of this was History Vikings, really, which is very, dark and gray and very depressing. Well, true history was so much more vibrant. Yes, our ancestors, they liked colors as well, even though they were literally darker times. But yeah, but it was really the atmosphere around that, the power or perceived power of the gods, the honor culture, the traditional ways, really. That's something that always has spoken to me. That's always something that I did feel. And yeah, like by watching all of that and like, hey, this is your ancestral story. It just clicked and all, snowballed from there, and, started the channel, started the podcasts, and yeah, now I'm here, doing guest spots, and while trying to connect all the dots as well, and have to sever, the connections between some dots. Like, hey, I'm still learning. Our history was always told, through stories and through mythologies. It wasn't until the Romans came into Europe that we started to write things down. And most of our stories are written now by Snorri Sturluson, who was still a Christian. So everything that he has written, take it with a grain of salt, because it is still through the Christian lens, of course.
Yes. And I have taken that into account as well. And it seems like, whenever we try to remember our ancestors or our ancient past, we always seem to get browbeaten, right? Or like we seem to get it held against us or something. Like everyone, I think everyone can say that all of their ancestors had in some time have done some things, that were, I mean, look, who knows? I'm sure they were deemed necessary at the time, right? I mean, it was a different way of life back then, but not the greatest things. But it seems like we're the only people who should, are made to feel guilty about it, right? Or we can't be proud of where we come from because of this. We can't look into that. I mean, dude, if I would have known that these sagas and these stories existed when I was a kid, dude, I would have dove into this way earlier on. I mean, it's fascinating. The stories of these heroes and just the trials and tribulations that they go through that are not only just courageous and brave but also esoteric at the same time. Like they're acquiring this wisdom and this knowledge from the gods or from this certain aspect of it does speak to you. It does speak to you. And I think if you're to reject that, I don't know. I don't know the consequences of that, but
I mean, the consequences of that is what we are seeing in Europe right now. I mean, that's also a lot of liberalism and the Christian mindset of love everyone, accept everyone,
especially when everyone else hates you, right?
And take care of those less fortunate. So get all of those less fortunate here into Europe, where we have it so good. Accept them. There's no need to have them integrate into our society. Like, you have to take them into account. All of their wishes and their culture and all of that. Like, for example, it is the Ramadan time at the moment, which is the for Islam the fasting time. And like, I'm seeing posts here and there coming from the Islamic people living in the Netherlands and in Europe as a whole.
Right.
It's like, how dare you eat in front of us, or when you're sitting next to us on the train, how dare you eat a sandwich when I'm fasting? It's like, well, I'm not fasting and I'm hungry.
Yeah,
so
we've been in this country for thousands of years, dude. Absolutely. And you see that happening here in America. These people want to come here, and they'll, when as they're coming here, they want, they'll be all pro America, this and that. But once they get here and, start making money off of the country and benefiting from their situation, then the tide kind of turns, and you see a different rhetoric, right? They like to hold up their country's flag, right, over our flag. If there's been interviews where people go up to these people in the street and they'll ask them, if we went to war with Mexico or Guatemala, or which one would you? Well, I'd support Mexico. I'd support Guatemala. And it's like, well, so then you're not American. You know what I mean? And so it I can't imagine an even older country such as where you live, or anywhere in Europe, that happening, and anyone just being okay with that.
Oh no, a lot of us are absolutely not, and
Right.
we'll make that known. But especially here in the Netherlands, that all really started in the 60s, 70s, when we had a bit of an economic boom. We brought in a lot of factory workers from Turkey, from Morocco, from Greece, from just anywhere, cheap labor, something that is, well, I think worldwide, of course. And
now our kids can't get jobs.
No, but I mean, it's not even that. It's not like they're taking our jobs, took our jobs and all that. No, that's not even the issue.
Right.
A lot of the, well, what is now third, fourth generation, they're too damn lazy to get a job. They want the money, but they don't want to work. That's why the wanted kind of shows here in the Netherlands, they call them Morocco's Got Talent, because they're the usual suspects. It's Middle Eastern, about 175 high, and it's okay, usual suspects.
Definitely not a European guy.
No, definitely not. But we brought in all those factory workers. We built factory towns for them, gave them a job, gave them a home, and that was that. Like no integration needed, no learning the language needed, just work in the factory, make the boss money, make yourself some money, because our money in value is greater than yours, and like whatever you do after, not our problem. We're getting rich. So yeah, it's been going on for decades, and like I said, we're now onto the third, fourth generation, and like, don't get me wrong, a lot of them are willing to work. I'm good friends with an Iraqi guy, and he is actually one who'll say that he'll support the Netherlands over Iraq, because he is in the Netherlands, and this country has given him so much already and has provided him with so much already. I mean, yeah, he'll go back to Iraq to visit family and all of that, but he is he considers himself to be Dutch, so he'll support the Netherlands and all of that. So there are it's not all of them, but it is unfortunately a lot of them, and that goes back decades. And yeah, I mean, like as you said, they are still allowed to have their national pride. What a thing here is like big Turkish weddings, for example. Like they'll rent all these like expensive fucking cars, like honking through the streets, like waving the Turkish flag and all of that.
Yeah,
and that's fine. Like we should be okay with that. We're not supposed to comment on that, because then you're racist or whatever. But if the Dutchies would do it, we'd get a hefty fine for doing it. So yeah, but that's I mean, the Netherlands has always been very liberal, very open-minded, while at the same time, like not wanting to create issues. Just keep your head down, do your thing, and don't make a fuss. Unfortunately, we are now starting to make a fuss, because we're getting kind of tired of this shit. So
getting a little full.
Yeah,
a little full. Yeah, man. And then it's like, and you can't even embrace your culture, right? We see the same thing happening here in America. And I just use that one people, just as an example. It happens with every group of people that seems to come to this country. We saw that thing, where was it? Minneapolis, I think, with the Somalians and all the fraud. And then you have the Tyler Oliveira kid going up to New Jersey and New York and exposing these Hasidic communities that are more or less so doing the same thing. I mean, I think none of them are working, and they're having like 10 kids per household, and it's like but they spend all day studying the Torah. Who's paying for these people to live? I think I know who.
Yeah,
I think I know who. But anyway, yeah, I didn't want to get all political and stuff, but
no, but that's it's one of the reasons why you should embrace your history, why you should embrace your heritage, because we have fought for or against these people for centuries. I mean, we've also traded with these people for centuries. I mean, there are Viking artifacts found as far as the Syria-Israel border. I believe I've mentioned before that, for example, the Varangian Guard of the I believe that was the Ottoman Empire.
Yes.
They were all Northern Europeans, like big burly guys. I mean, yeah, hell yeah, you're gonna want those as guards. But that was to the benefit of both parties, of all parties involved, really. So yeah, like we should work together, like we should cooperate, but still respect each other's culture, each other's heritage. And I mean, I have a very strong stance in that. That's why I celebrate my heritage, why I do my best to educate about our heritage, both culturally, spiritually, religiously, occult, esoteric, like doesn't matter, like all layers. And I mean, I'm having somewhat of a success with it and learning a lot in the meantime.
You're having fun
myself as well. So
yeah, man. That's part of it. That's part of the journey. And like I said, having fun doing it as well.
Yeah.
Somebody said, Stijn, what kind of cross are you wearing? Just
well, the cross on my shirt is just it's a star, but I always wear the hammer of Thor, Mjolnir.
That's Mjolnir. Yeah, I didn't know if you had a what is it, the Woden's son? Jesus, dude, really?
Oh,
See, we're talking about phones and stuff. Now people are calling me.
that's funny.
All right. But yeah, dude. So, but one book or one saga, because people aren't aware that there's many different sagas, right? Like there's sagas from Denmark, there's sagas from Norway, sagas from Iceland, the Germanic sagas. Like there's so many.
Finland, Frisia.
Yeah. Sweden. Yeah, dude. Yeah. We have a lot to get to as far as us reading them on the show. We haven't, we've gotten up to chapter 8 in the Volsunga saga. And now this is like the progenitor. Correct me if I'm wrong, but this is the progenitor of the Nordic race that comes down from the Volsungs.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of still studying that as well, because that's kind of when you get into the the territory of like Hyperborea.
Okay.
Hi. Okay. that's my co-host, my kitty co-host.
We're always used to Beans being here with Headless.
But yeah, that's the original stories. You'll find them in the Volsung. Indeed, those are the legendary sagas. Talks about all the heroes, and then the Voluspa is really the origin stories of it all, which is part of the poetic Edda. It's really the poetic and the prose Edda are the two books wherein every story is has been written down, as well as the column laws of Odin, the Havamal, the sayings of the High One, sayings of the Wise One.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, the closest that we get to like 10 Commandments, although they're more
kind of like the Norse. What are they called? Me and Headless talked about them.
They're guidelines. Really, this is this is what
the max.
What this is what Odin sees as the best way to live, the best way to go, and whether you hold yourself to it or not, that is completely up to you. That's one of the things that has has attracted me for the longest time to paganism in the broadest sense, heathenism, really, if you want to talk European specific. It is very open. It's a personal practice. There is no dogma. There are no set rules, set guidelines, like you do this on that day, in that specific direction using these tools and prayers. It's very personal. So if you feel that it is right to do it this way, then go do it that way. If you want to go all out and spend a couple thousand on an altar and all these fancy tools and whatever, go fucking nuts. It's the intent that counts. Like, are you doing it with the right intention? Are you doing it to...
Do you have faith?
yeah, are you honoring your gods? Are you honoring your ancestors? Are you honoring your family? Because it's not just people from the past. You are your ancestors as well, of course. And I want my children's children to tell the tales of me as well,
And venerate
becoming
me,
one of
my
the
great-
ancestors.
Yeah. The Delphic Maxims. That's what I was thinking of. Me and Headless we had just read them on the Esoteric because I was like, I don't know why I couldn't think of them. It's kind of it's 147 Delphic Maxims written almost 1,000 years before the Old Testament, right? And these were their laws in Greece that they had, and it's everything and more, right? That society needs.
I've actually just recently been listening to a show from or an episode by Uber Boyo. Love that guy. Irish fella. He's awesome.
Yeah.
And what he was saying, and if you look at it, that's look at all the evidence that he comes with, and it lines up with what you just said as well, is that the Judaic religion was made in Europe, like the original. The very first Bible was written in Greek.
Yes.
So it is, like, you could say that the pagans made monotheism, because polytheism, paganism, it's a more natural way of practicing. It's the most, quite literal, natural religion there is. Like, it's animism. It's the belief that nature is the divine and the divine is nature.
And when that happens to you naturally, dude, when you just start looking at nature and viewing it as emanations of God and of these deities, like it's beautiful, man.
Yeah,
it really is. And
I want to ask real quick. Now, sorry to interrupt, but before you're kind of getting in there now, I did want to ask, I guess, like, what is it that, like, not to put you on the spot, I'm sure you've answered this question plenty of times. What is it, like, what is a pagan to you? Or what does that mean to you? Or to add on to it, what practices or certain things in your daily life have you incorporated into it now that you would consider also makes you pagan, if you do that?
Oh man. The origin of the word pagan is kind of derogatory, actually. Right. Just people from the lands, people from the smaller towns, the farmers, like, they're not educated like us city folk. It's also where the word heathen comes from, people from the heath, people from the lands. But to me, a pagan is a follower of the old ways. And it really doesn't matter what old ways those are, whether it is, I don't know, like, Mesoamerican, for example, like you live in those regions and you follow the old ways of your people, then I consider that pagan ways. Mm-hmm. Hellenic, Roman. Even there are many different kinds. You can, like, kind of divide it up into three, Reconstructionists, modern, eclectic, and indigenous.
Real quick, just because I don't want to lose this question, and I'm not like, I'm being honest when I'm not, like, trying to ask you a question. I'm just having thoughts, and, like, I just want to ask you.
Ask away,
you
Nick.
Consider, like, Santa Muerte or, like, voodoo, would those then be considered pagan to you too? Because you did mention, like, even things that are
yeah, those are indigenous practices. So yeah, I would say that those are pagan practices.
Okay. No, just
for that
it just crossed my mind. I was like, well, yeah, that could be indigenous, could be like Mexico.
Yeah, it is.
You mentioned or
Yeah, it is. They are also polytheist practices, mostly. Multiple gods or godheads or multiple.
Oh, is that something too that would be normally like polytheist, where there's like gods for everything as well?
Yeah,
like a character of, like, I guess, a pagan's belief system.
Usually, yeah. Especially if you're if you're talking about European paganism that is polytheistic. The belief of belief in multiple gods, at least. I mean, there are, a whole multitude of different creatures, divine and less divine, of course. But the belief in multiple gods, polytheism, and paganism, kind of goes hand in hand. It's not. It's not a synonym for like polytheist doesn't necessarily mean pagan. Pagan doesn't necessarily mean polytheist, but it does go hand in hand, at least for the more like reconstructionist and indigenous side of things. If we're talking modern eclectic, that would be stuff like Wicca, Druidry,
I was gonna say
Strigaria.
I was gonna say there's a difference between like the Wiccan stuff and the kind of Germanic Norse paganism stuff, right?
Yes.
I get a different kind of vibe and energy from it completely, but that's just me.
I mean, yes and no. Like Wicca is Wicca only got established in the 70s, I believe. So it is one of the newest. It's very very new age. Right? It's very eclectic. It's we're taking this and this and this and this and this, and making it into one thing. It's a lot about
it's like Gaia Thelema, the Thelema light. Really, I mean, it came from Jarl.
Yeah. That's what I got from it.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't know. It seems more of like the Celtic mythology to me, and like those,
No, that's Reconstructionist. Okay. And then again,
just using the names of deities and putting it with a certain sigil and like
Yeah, it's there is no. I'd say there's no structure to it.
Right.
It's very much, like I feel this is right. So I'm taking it from I'm taking Celtic, I'm taking Nordic, I'm taking, some witchcraft and like some voodoo and like twisting and turning it into this amalgamation of things. And that's Wicca. I mean, that's, it's also very much a personal practice, but without foundation, really. I mean, the only foundation would be really, I don't know, the god and the goddess, like the alchemical marriage. And that's really, I mean, even that's a stretch, especially with more modern Wiccans, because they're very much new age. They're more like, I mean, Wiccan has in my opinion gotten from like somewhat witchcrafty kind of Celtic, perhaps, to like crystal girlies on TikTok.
yeah, that's what I was saying. That's what I think of.
No, if the craft and charm never came out, it'd probably be a dead religion at this point.
Like the TikTok witches and stuff. And they're doing their thing, I guess.
One thing I want to ask your opinion, Stein, as you're kind of explaining Wicca. It is kind of interesting how you were saying it, because I agree. Also, like recently, I've noticed, I don't know what it is, maybe something in the liberal witches and ceremonial magicians lately have been going on about misappropriation. It's like, oh Jesus, we have to find fucking racism somewhere or some race baiting shit. I could see Wicca in itself, Wicca cults or Wicca covens, technically doing that themselves, because they'll kind of go with a certain god or goddess and then give it its own attributes and kind of make everybody else follow that.
And 9 out of 10 times it's
stealing the original one and then rebranding it. That would be that I think would fit more.
And 9 out of 10 times it's Egyptian or Greco-Roman. That's it is what they're doing themselves. Yeah, they're appropriating, misappropriating, everything. Like you'll have a bunch of fucking middle class white women. Gotta love those middle class white women. They're just like calling themselves or like being inducted or whatever in some kind of Wiccan cult, and now they are, a priestess of Isis, or if they want to keep it sort of European, it's it's always Bridget, the Celtic goddess. It's never freaking Freya. It's never Frigg. It's never some Slavic, for example. It's always Bridget.
I noticed that a lot. Yeah, when I was out in New York and I looked at what was that, Witchbox? I forgot. I don't even remember. It was like some site back in the day where it would show you like I guess like kind of like not cults, but I mean orders or witch covens and all that shit. And a lot of them were always fucking Bridget and Hecate.
Hecate, is another
Hecate is another one.
Yeah, because
like don't you guys know everybody else? Like,
I mean, Hecate is edgy. She's a dark goddess. She doesn't take shits, and a lot of those women want to pretend that they are like her.
Right.
That point is just emo cosplay.
Yes, dude. Yes, that's exactly what I want. That you took the words out of my mouth. Yeah, that's the vibes that I get from that.
And I don't even have anything against cosplay. Like, cosplay can be very reconstructionist
if you're having fun with it. Yeah.
No, I get it. But some people I do think take like cosplay.
Yeah, the Wiccans are they're making a mess of things, really. And yeah, they are appropriating, everything from everywhere and calling it. I don't even know what they're calling it. Like, it's another religion. It's kind of, I mean, it's probably like, I'm not religious, I'm spiritual. It's like,
I also think this takes the beauty away from the ancestral religions, right? It gives it that dark connotation, kind of like when people think of it, it's this satanic dark, and it's like, well, actually, no. Well, there, like I said at the beginning of the episode, there's dark aspects to everybody's
for sure,
ancient culture, especially in the Bible. I mean, the Old Testament's full of it,
I mean, the European pantheon has the same thing. Like, I made videos on that. If there's a true Ruka true, it's left hand path paganism. It's the veneration of the darker side of the Jotun, the giants. The darker gods and goddesses like Loki, like Hela.
Because Odin lived among the giants, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, that's the funny thing, that they're always at war with the giants, but so many of the gods are, giant offspring,
right?
Or married to giants, or have at the very least have kids with with giants.
Absolutely.
I mean, it's rebellion against your parents, I guess. Like, who hasn't?
The rebellious child. It's part of Horus's story, at least in the OTO, kind of.
And Odin as well. Odin is also a very rebellious spirit. I mean, he loves the battle for the thrill of the battle. The wild hunt is really just for the thrill of the hunt. He's a very left-hand path god. It's also what you see in his story. It's the end justifies the means. He's done some horrible stuff. He's done some stuff that he was absolutely ridiculed for, in order to learn Seidr, which is a female form of magic. You're not supposed to practice female magic as a man, unless you want to land upside down in the bog, of course. That's that's up to you. But he had to, he was studying under Freya, because, she is the foremost practitioner of Seidr. And he kind of had to become a woman. He had to dress up and live as a woman in order to learn the magic, which is something that the trans community absolutely fucking loves. It's like, oh, see, like, even Odin is trans. It's like, no. Or, Loki is trans. No, but Odin and Loki are shapeshifters. They can take on any form that, that is needed or that they desire. I mean, with Loki, it even goes as far as he transforms himself and like literally is able to give birth to a freaking 8-legged horse.
Yeah, and you'll hear people say that him and Odin had to have sex for that eight-legged horse or something, and then it's like, well,
that was Loki and a stallion of a giant stonemason.
Right. Okay, that's what I thought. Because Loki could shapeshift too.
Yeah. Loki is
He's shapeshifting into a horse. Yeah.
Into a mare and luring the stallion away, making the giant stonemason miss the deadline for the building of the wall of Asgard. Therefore, he does not need to be paid. The payment, of course, being the hand of Freya in marriage and both the sun and the moon, if I'm not mistaken.
Which she was given to him without her consent, right?
I mean, they needed a wall to, protect themselves from the giants. He is the best stonemason in the realm of all the realms.
But really, because they sent giant in disguise.
They at first they did not know that he was a giant. I mean, they sent out messengers, throughout the realms, of course, and he is the best one, the most proficient one. He works the best, he works the fastest, and I mean his prize was high. He wanted the hand of Freya in marriage. Who wouldn't? The most beautiful, most powerful goddess of the whole pantheon. I mean, hell, I would love her hand in marriage. Let's say that. I'm a mere human.
Dude, crazy. We have this picture. Well, I think my wife has had it since she was like 13, and it's been in this bin that we have, and we took some out in the past month or so to put some more art up, and she put it, and she goes, "Who is this?" And it's Freya. It's that picture of Freya bending down and like communing with the elementals on the ground, and she has a crown on, and the crown lights up. It's all sits right there next to our bed. It's just funny how she's had this picture since she was a little girl. And I don't know, synchronicities, right? Because we're learning about this stuff, and my wife is redheaded, right? Like she comes from that whole. I mean, when I think of these ancient tribes, especially, well, when you hear of the Nephilim being referred to, I mean, they're red-headed giants, right?
Mm-hmm.
These were Northmen. I mean, were they not?
Likely. Yeah, most likely. Yeah. And I mean, Thor himself is, red-headed, and he is a giant of a god. He is the strongest of the gods. That's also why the Marvel depiction is very inaccurate. Like Thor wasn't ripped. Thor was more, I mean, in how I perceive him, at least, like more the power lifter build, because he had that belt and those gloves, which gave him extra strength, which, reminds me very much of, a power lifter with the belt and the straps and all of that. He loved to eat. He loved to drink. You don't stay, ripped if you are that strong and you love to eat, you love to drink.
Right.
Even if you're a god. But yeah, he was redheaded. Loki was redheaded. It is a hair color that you really only see natural here in the north. And yeah, we are among the biggest and tallest people in the world. The Dutch on average are the tallest in the world. And yeah, we have a lot of redheads, especially in the northern provinces. Groningen and Friesland, a lot of redheads there.
I love it. Yeah, I mean, my kids have red hair, and they get that from their mom. But I mean, this is why women with red hair used to be burned at the stake, right? They were known as witches, and they had to hide their hair.
They possess a certain power, and I can speak on that. Like, I have kids with a redhead. My wife's a redhead. Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. So this firsthand. And didn't Epstein say something in the Epstein files about like staying away from redheaded women because of some kind of like power that they had from their ancestors or something. I don't know. That's I heard it was something along those lines.
I'm not familiar with that, but that, it wouldn't surprise me as someone who like really practices the dark arts and is afraid of any kind of real power that might be able to stop him.
Right.
Then stay the hell away from redheads. Yeah.
Yeah. My wife had brought that up to me yesterday. She was like, "Did you know that he said?" I was like, "No, that's weird though. It's very strange." But back to the Volsunga. Yeah, I mean that whole bloodline of the Volsungs, I'm pretty sure were redheads. But dude, that's something that we're missing and that we need to instill in our young men today is that warrior spirit.
Yeah.
That you see in these ancient times. Because it kept this family alive while their bloodline was being systematically like killed, like Sigmund, all his brothers were killed. Right. And then his sister basically killed herself, and then he had to watch his son die before him. And, and I haven't gotten further than that. We haven't gotten to Sigurd yet, but, when he slays Fafnir and all that stuff, I can't wait. But, up until that point, you do see, and I saw you talking about this on your show the other day. You brought up, like this wolf factor to the story. And you see that in the Volsunga saga, well, not only with the she-wolf, that is supposedly King Sigurd, the king of Jutland, his mother, who's a shapeshifter as well. So it seems like these elite kings like come from these shape-shifting bloodlines or something.
Yeah. You're talking about the Ulfhednar and the Berserker, the elite warriors, so really.
Berserker comes from Berserker.
Probably.
It's like bear spirit.
Yeah, spirit of the bear. Yeah, okay. And the Ulfhednar is the spirit of the wolf.
Ulfhednar?
Wolf. Yeah.
Okay.
Spirit of the wolf. And it was I did a show about that because it was really through the book that I'm reading on my Patreon, Night Side of the Runes, which is absolutely amazing if you want to know more about the runes and especially their shadow side. You should read this one or join me on Patreon. Because
guys, go over to Stein's Patreon. I think I have the link in the description. I need to join up with you, man.
Patreon.com/Greyhorn Pagans. But yeah, it's the chapter on the forms of man, talking about the hammer, for example. Powerful magicians can use the hugr, which is another form, to change hammer, changing appearance and form during an ecstatic trance or deep sleep. They are releasing their mind or soul and leave the body with its appearance. And it was like because of that, it made me think of the Ulfhednar, made me think of the Berserker, because they're set to, first of all, they are elite warriors. That's why, the stories of them are so incredibly awesome, but they wear the bear skin and or the wolf skin, and they become the bear, they become the wolf, they inhabit the spirit of the bear or the spirit of the wolf with the wotanic, ecstatic, furious trance. So I was reading that and I was thinking, like, we know shapeshifters are a thing. Odin is a shapeshifter, Loki is a shapeshifter, as I mentioned. They're set to go into this Wotanic trance. They are the elite warriors of Wotan, of Odin. What if they actually did shapeshifts, which is something that you kind of see in the Northman film as well. Because that is a gang of Ulfhednar, of wolf warriors, and they
at the very beginning, right?
I believe so. Yeah. There are multiple scenes with Berserker and Ulfhednar, But they really like embodied it to the point that they indeed almost became like wolves, and they are talked about like they are these, well, wolf beings. Like, yeah, they're still men, but they are in, in such an ecstatic trance that they have become the wolf. So like, what if by wearing the skin, they have become these beings? I mean, that would be fucking frightening.
You want to know something real weird?
Sure.
4 years ago, I got a giant wolf head tattooed on my stomach. So, I don't think there's any coincidence in the fact that we're talking about this right now. Yeah, dude, it seems like they were shape-shifting. If not, it's this like energy that they kind of took on. You know what I mean? By putting the wolf skin on, and because you see Sif Yoltley, I think that's how you say his name. I think, maybe you could correct me. I could spell it for you. But the son of Sigmund slays like 15 dudes, while in this state, and he's not harmed at all. And
I mean, like, yeah, they are said to. I mean, they can be harmed, but just because of their ecstatic states. I mean, good luck with that. It was Brady Nash from Apocalypse Historia. It's funny, like he kind of likened it to like PCP strength, for example, or as someone in the chat,
crackhead strength. Somebody's talking about methamphetamine in the chat.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, like somebody who is like fucking coked out of their minds, just this absolute fucking retard strength. I mean, you're not gonna fucking stop. You're not gonna fucking stop them. And like, yeah, you can. It's. I'm sorry, but it's kind of a thing.
Oh, you're absolutely right. Oh, you're right.
But and yeah, like you can wound them. Like, yeah, you can cut them, punch them, whatever. But they're so out of their fucking minds. They don't feel it. They don't sense it. So by that, I'd imagine they seem invincible in some way.
Man.
And it's just, the Ulfnar and the Berserker did it without math or without PCP. And I am going to fucking die on the hill that they did it without shrooms as well.
Really? Okay. So
I mean, I'm sure.
Do you think there was any substance that was involved? Any like natural substance that we possibly don't know about, or was it completely spiritual?
I think perhaps in some rituals to enhance it. Yeah, sure, but I don't believe that.
Nothing we know about.
I don't believe it was all shrooms. I've done breathing sessions, and you can get far with just breathing, just a particular rhythm or a particular guided breathing. Like you can release DMT by just breathing exercises. You don't need any substances. Like, we can release it ourselves. So if you inhabit the or if you are able to inhabit the Wotanic spirit and you are guided by a shaman, I'm sure you can get into the trance without any substances. Like you're fucking high on adrenaline already because you're going into battle.
Mm-hmm.
You are a man of Odin, which already makes for a very powerful energy. I felt Odin's energy. It's you got to be fucking strong to contain that, let alone like actually channel it. Guided by a shaman. I mean, add that all up, and I don't think you need any kind of substance. I think you're perfectly well off just going into a guided trance, high on adrenaline.
Yeah, and I'm sure, like, from your opponent's point of view, that is terrifying.
Oh yeah.
See.
Oh, absolutely. Like even just, you know, if we're not talking about like actually shape-shifting, a bunch of dudes, like bunch of big burly dudes, like growling like bears and snarling like wolves, fucking running at you, just and you know they're not gonna have any mercies. Like, you know, whatever is in their path is, you know, as soon as they get there, it's not gonna be in their path anymore. It's just it's total destruction, total annihilation. So yeah, that's the scariest fucking thing ever that you can see running at you.
Yeah, I can only imagine, dude. But yeah, it's when I first was reading that in that story, I was just like, oh my God, man. And but then, you know, they embrace this energy and they take back their kingdom. You know, and I mean, there's tragedy throughout the story, but this is where the story of Ragnar comes along, right? Into that saga, through Aslog, right? His second wife, who was the daughter of Brynhild and Sigurd, right? Yeah. And those are like, that's a real bloodline. Like, it's not just a mythology.
No, yeah, King Ragnar was he was king indeed. He may not have been a pagan king necessarily. Like I do believe that Scandinavia might have been Christian by that time already.
Okay.
I'm not too sure about that. I mean, those were like weird times. Because it was hard for Christianity to really get a foothold in Scandinavia. But yeah, he was a real king. He wasn't a merely a fictional character. As a matter of fact, like all the characters in the TV show Vikings were actual historical people. They just not necessarily lived during the same times. Yeah.
It's crazy. I had looked into each character and when I first had watched the show, and it's each one does have some historical basis either in Iceland, Greenland, Denmark, Scandinavia. So
a lot Iceland. I have the Icelandic sagas. I still need to read them, but it's a hefty book.
We have the I have the Icelandic sagas too, man. Yeah, that's something that I really can't wait for. Need to get back on the Volsunga saga, but would love for you to come in and read with us sometime. So talking, please forgive me. I don't know if y'all can hear that, but one of my kids it's off the other kid.
It happens.
Yeah. It happens. She's, that's what it is. She'll be all right. She's gonna have a good week. I'm off work this next week, so got a lot of time I'll be spending with the kids. I'll also be doing a bunch of shows, guys. We're up at the top of the hour, y'all. Don't forget to like the stream. Going live later at 7:00 with the Veritas Road. It's gonna be a banger. I think 7 Central. Going on their show. They get to ask me some questions. I love going on other shows.
That's great.
Yeah, I love it. I don't have to be the host, and I love hosting my own show. But there was like a year where I think close to a year where I didn't go on anyone's show for a minute because I was so busy. I had like 10 shows of my own, and so bit off a little more than I could chew there. We had to cut some down, but now back to a good number of. I do a good amount of streams a week, I'd say. I don't know. The past few weeks, it's been a little light, but I told you guys I would make it up. So, getting back to it, the Voluspa is that how you say it?
The Voluspa, yeah.
The Voluspa. That's something else that is on, and that's in the Poetic Edda. You said.
Yeah, that is part of the. It's the first poem in the Poetic Edda. But that really tells the tale of the beginning of time, the beginning of the realms as we know it in the North Germanic mythology. So,
okay. Before we get off the other topic, there's something else that I had read somewhere. I don't know. It may have been a video that I saw of Odin being akin to like a wolf god at some point, maybe Woden, or the Wotan fig down in down in Germania, or along in that region.
I mean, he had his two wolves, of course.
Greggy and Jerry, right?
Yeah.
He has two wolves, guys. Two wolves.
An actual wolf god, Geri and Freki.
Gary and Freki.
I'm not sure. Roughly translated, that would be greed and glutton.
Greed and glutton.
Yeah, but I'm not sure if he's actually a wolf god. I mean, you in that way you could call
Just
him a raven god as well, because of Hugin and Munar. But yeah, I would say he is most closely associated with the blackbirds and the wolves. Yeah.
Okay. So how does Voluspa? I don't want to say it wrong. I'm trying not to butcher
Voluspa, yeah.
Voluspa.
Sure.
How? So you said it. How does it start out?
Well, it starts out with stanzas 1 to 5, and I actually have it here. Hearing I ask from the holy races, from Heimdall's sons, both high and low, thou wilt, Val Father, that well I relate all tales I remember of man long ago. So it really starts out with, of course, setting the scene, and goes into the old age when Ymir lived. Sea nor cool waves nor sand there were. Earth had not been nor heaven above, but a yawning gap, and grass nowhere. The yawning gap, the voids, Genunga gap called. Then Bur's sons lifted the level lands, Bur's sons being Odin and his brothers.
Who's Bur?
Bur is the one of the primordial giants, or one of the older giants. He's the
and
the
that's
father.
what Ymir was too, right? He was.
Ymir was the very, very first one. Bur is of
That's what the Earth is
say a
sculpted out
later
of. Is Ymir's
later
skeleton?
generation. Yeah, they created the world out of
Okay.
his body. Yes, from his brains, the clouds, from his
hair, the trees, right?
Yeah, his blood, the oceans, his broken bones became the mountains, if I'm not mistaken, and his dome became the heavens above. His skull became the heavens above, held up by 4 dwarves of the 4 cardinal points of the compass.
Somebody's bringing up, in Germany, Catholic St. Boniface cut down Thunder Oak, a massive oak tree dedicated to Thor, and used the wood to build a church. Yeah, that was Donar's oak. And then I think St. Boniface was killed by Frisians. So
yeah, that was up in Frisia. Yeah, that was here in the Netherlands. And he paid for that.
He did.
He got his head cleaved.
Well, you don't go into someone's territory and just chop down their I mean, if these people venerate this tree, that's holy to them. I think that's very disrespectful.
No, we don't venerate the trees. The trees are they are a representation of the gods. They inhabit the essence of the gods,
the spirit, right?
Yeah,
like the druids would they'd sit under the trees, and they would kind of receive these messages, right?
Yeah, I mean, same as the Buddha, I
didn't mean it as if
gained no, I know, but same as the Buddha, like he gained enlightenment under the fig tree, I believe.
Right.
So yeah, trees are incredibly important, and the oak tree, that's Thor's tree, because it's the strongest, the mightiest, the hardest, the mighty oak. So
that is okay. That is Thor's tree. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Odin hung on a ash tree, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
windswept,
But that's similar
windswept
to
tree, the ash tree.
somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. But yeah, and then doesn't it get into how like I don't know if you want to keep reading it after that.
I mean, there are 66 stanzas, so it may be a bit much, but I know the creation story. From the top of my head, it was the primordial realms of fire and the primordial realms of ice, as being Muspelheim and Niflheim. They came together in the yawning gap in the void in Gnunga Gap, and from the steam that came the very first beings rose. One of them indeed being Ymir, the primordial ice giant, and later on Audumbla, the primordial cow who fed Ymir, and from that also becoming the Milky Way.
Interesting.
Yeah, and she licked salty ice blocks, eventually freeing Buri, who was the very first of the gods. So Buri is really the father of all gods, and he came from a block of ice, and it was his son Bor who married the giantess Bestla, who had 3 sons, Woden, Vili, and Ve. That's why the sign for Odin that you see a lot, the Valknut, the 3 triangles, is said to be representative of the 3 V's for Woden, Vili, and Ve, the 3 brothers that were the very first Aesir, the ones who gave us life, who made man and woman out of a ash tree and an elm tree, and gave us knowledge, gave us free will, gave us breath. And yeah, the 3 bodies, they killed Ymir using his body to create the world. His flesh became the earth, which I find really interesting, because there's a lot of in the more Tartarian circles, there's a lot of talk that these what is it, salt caves
Are
for example, like the real the Himalayan red salt, for example, is really kind of looks fleshy,
like red meat.
Yeah, which lines up with our creation story, because it was his flesh that became the earth.
Wow.
His blood formed the seas, his bones turned into the mountains, and his skull became the sky held up by the 4 dwarves, and his brains the clouds. And I mean, yeah, the everybody always looked bad on the dwarves, unfortunately, even though they are the master smiths, because it was from the maggots of Ymir's flesh that the dwarves came.
Yeah, dude. That story of, or I think I've read the stanza on the dwarves, and it's something.
Yeah,
it's incredible.
And a lot of the names you actually find in the stories of the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, I saw that, dude. I saw that. And to that, the dwarves being, now this goes into the teachings of Paracelsus when it comes to the elementals, right? The dwarves being connected to our physical bodies, our bones. I don't know if have you ever gotten into that?
I have
the
spoken
dwarves
to a alchemist of the Paracelsus school, but I'm not sure. I haven't heard that. I mean, they are the master smiths,
gnomes, dwarves, whatever. Same thing. But
I mean, they're very grounded elemental beings. they held up the skull of Ymir. It wouldn't surprise me if they are, connected to our very internal structure.
Yeah. I don't know. How long is the Voluspa? Is it you said 66
stanzas? Okay.
Yeah. Well, the wheels is bound to land on it soon enough. Rat, what's up, dude? Rated the stream. I guess they had a D2A. Disagree to agree. It's my co-host some other show. Yeah, man. No. So I wanted. Let me see. Something else I wanted to talk to you about. I was going to pull up this picture real fast, but I decided. Also, that's your website. Okay. Yeah, those names that you're talking about, it seems like a lot of modern day culture and stuff is built off of these ancient names, and even the runes as well. Like they hold a lot of power to them.
They most definitely do. Yeah.
Yeah, like the what is it, the Bluetooth symbol or whatever?
Yeah, that is literally those are 2 runes. Yeah.
Yeah. Here I
named after Harold Bluetooth.
Wait, what?
Yeah, he was actually the king that reunited Scandinavia under Christianity.
Oh, what? Dude, that's crazy. So yeah, it's the is it called the Berkana?
Berkana runes, that's one that's the B. Yeah.
It stands for growth.
Yep.
That's so cool, man. Yeah, I mean, how many logos and symbols out there? I mean, I'd say a lot of them.
Yeah, a whole lot. I mean, I go deeper in the runes on the night side of the runes. Like it talks about them in so many ways, and also that that it's not supposed to be the Futhark, but the Uthark. That Fehu would actually come last, and how Thomas Carlson explains it in the book actually makes a lot of sense, because the runes they're also representations of certain things. Futhark is merely the first few letters of the runic alphabet, with Fehu, the first one being wealth, and cattle. Let's see. I still have a
provisions and stuff, like just
my downloads. To understand the runes is very difficult. I mean, it literally took Odin a lifetime and so many fucking sacrifices as well. Yeah. So Futhark, Fehu, Urus, Turisas, Ansus, Raido, Kenau. So that is Fehu would be cattle or wealth, which is at least in those times synonymous to each other. Of course, Urus is the oxen, which is why Thomas Carlson, debates on the topic that it doesn't make sense to have cattle come before the oxen, especially since it is the primordial oxen, the Uros.
Okay.
Thurisas being the rune for Thor, of course. Ansus is the ash or ash tree. Raido, which actually looks like an R, is the road, and then Kenu is the torch. So every rune is it's not just a letter; it's also it's a symbol, and that symbol has a certain power to it. So you can of course combine them as well, but then you would, be sure to combine runes that actually go with each other. If you're if you want to connect I don't know.
Like
So low
strength
for
and wealth
the
and growth or something.
Isa for ice. Those two really don't go together. Like they are diametrically opposed in both meaning and and power. So I mean, you can make a bind rune of it, but it's going to be chaotic and it's not going to work the way you want to.
I've seen the bind runes as well. Yeah.
I mean, the ruthless
what's
symbol
the
is basically a bind rune. So
what's the difference between a rune and a bind rune?
I mean, there is no difference. Bind rune is just multiple runes made into one. Trying to combine forces. Trying to have one rune amplify the strength of another by its meaning. And for certain runes that works better than others, like the example that I just gave. If you want to try and connect the rune for the sun, Sowilo, and the rune for ice, Isa, I mean, they're diametrically opposed. So I mean, you can make a bind rune of them. It's fairly easy, but it's not going to work. And even if it's working, it's going to be absolute chaos because those runes, they are opposites of each other. They don't strengthen each other.
I mean, dude, I see so many other symbols in these runes. I see a fish. I see a peace sign. Well, it's the algaes. The algaes is the upside down peace sign.
No, it's the actual peace sign.
It is the actual. Wow. So the peace sign is actually the inversion.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is because I mean, if you kind of look at it, it's looking more like a jet or a rocket in a way.
Yeah.
Well, the algaes rune, the way it is mostly described is kind of like a man with his arms outstretched, kind of in a victory pose, if you will.
Right. And then I see some of these look like the Masonic apron almost, or like they use these runes as.
You're talking about manas?
Yeah, that's
I guess the rune for human. Yeah.
Yeah. And something else that I saw, did Crowley literally take a rune and turn it into like this protective angel, Iwaz, which means defense?
Mm.
Yeah, Nick, I saw
I
that.
have actually thought that Iwaz, believe it or not, I think he might be playing off of the Alice in Wonderland syndrome. That's what I think.
Okay, because
I was
quite often too.
Have you ever thought about that, Stijn?
No, I haven't. But
it
is the rune for strength. So I mean, if he's looking to, create or call up some divine powerful being.
So he was taking stuff from Norse mythology, the Kabbalah,
everyone
all
has
this shit from everywhere. He was doing what these hot topic, Wiccan.
Everyone has.
Okay.
I keep saying, I don't know why people stay stuck on them because they pulled older people's shit that nobody knows anything about.
Right.
Go look at the people they ripped off. Then you'll learn more.
Oh my God.
Yeah, they get stuck. You don't look any further back than Helena Blavatsky and fucking.
I'm glad I saved the rune question for last, Stijn.
Yeah, that's it. Did he also even change the strength card in the tarot?
In his own tarot?
Yeah, did he?
You would know. I don't know. I still haven't had anyone on to talk about the occult side of Crowley. I've had William Ramsey on to talk about his, his like the view of him from, that lens of him being the magician. But I haven't, looked into the inner workings of
Nick. Which card would that be?
The strength card, maybe? Did he replace? Let me see. I could be wrong. I'm looking fucking horrible now. Might have been with Lust.
You guys would know more about tarot than me.
Not
I'd like to have somebody on to talk about that. Actually, that'd be a good episode.
Get Zaralath.
Get Zaralath. I sent him a message. Tell him
the runes and tarot, and you actually should get him on. He's
definitely
awesome.
Okay. Cool.
Oh, no, sorry, that was Justice. Replacing. Wait, let me see.
But when I was
replaced Justice with Strength.
When I was looking at the runes, I saw that name and I went, wait a minute.
You replaced Justice with Strength. Okay.
He took this and now everyone thinks that the Iwas is this fallen angel, thing.
No.
It's not. It's not, you know?
No,
Well,
it's
you know what I mean. When people read the story of Crowley and they see his guardian angel was named Iwaz, now in their perception, they see that kind of like how I did. And I had to go, well, wait a minute. The runes came way longer.
Oh, yeah.
You know, so they definitely took that from that. And like you said earlier, it's the intention behind it, especially with runes, right? I mean, that's magic.
They are,
you
know, they are the most powerful symbols, powerful, well, sigils, if you will, of Northern Europe. You know, I mean, at least of the old magic, let's say. I mean, there you of course have the Icelandic, Solomonic sigils as well, like the what a lot of people think is the Viking compass. It's that's Icelandic magic. It's a seal. It's a sigil. It's not
really.
It's not Viking. Let's say it's
whoa.
newer.
So what is it? Does it maybe come from the desert?
No, it's Icelandic. But it is
who
it's the helm of all, I believe, is what everyone confuses to be the Viking compass or one of those at least.
So is there an original Viking compass?
No.
Okay.
The Vegvisir. Everyone thinks that the Vegvisir is the Icelandic compass when that is that's sigil magic.
Here, let's I'm gonna pull a picture of that up. You said it was what? The
Vegvisir. If you type in Viking compass, you'll find it as well.
Here okay, this right here, guys. I'm gonna pull it up. I have too many tabs open. I always do. I'm getting more organized. It's like the longer you have your show, the more unorganized you become.
Right.
Here you go. So
yeah.
This is not Nordic. This is not.
It's Icelandic, but it's not Viking. It's newer than that, and this is sigil magic. This is not runic.
Okay, so there's a difference between sigil magic and runic magic.
Yeah, this is more akin to Solomonic magic.
Aha. Aha. Okay. That makes sense. And yeah, it does kind of have that same kind of look to it, you could almost say, as the Solomonic sigils. Tobias,
good call. Tina Kemper. She is she does a lot of stuff with Thomas Sheridan.
We had him on
she's Flemish. Actually, I've had her on my show. She is.
Iwaz is an
from Belgium. But Tina's awesome. If you wanna know about the runes, like really know about the runes, Tina, yeah, absolutely, good call.
Someone's saying Iwaz is an egregore. That would make sense. Maybe it would be an archetype, some kind of defense egregore, perhaps. I don't know. I'm glad I asked that though, man. Yeah, it was something that caught my eye. That was kind of like, huh, man. You know, you see these similar terms and these motifs in all these different cultures, man. There has to be some kind of connection there. But like when I started reading some of these ancient Norse myths and stuff, dude, like I start seeing like Idun, the goddess Idun, who is
Idun, and her golden apples.
Her apples, right? So yeah, you have the Garden of Eden with this apple.
The Garden of Idun, and it is through her golden apples, by the eating of the golden apples, that the gods maintain their immortality.
Something tells me that Idun is much more ancient than,
most likely. Yeah.
And I you see these similar themes throughout.
I mean, the apple, as a symbol in of itself, if you look at it, it's toroidal, first and foremost. It also kind of has the Vesica Pisces shape, or the which is a very ancient fertility symbol as well. But it has seeds, so it is kind of both male and female as well. The golden apples of Idun. It allows the gods to maintain their immortality, and a lot of the stories that you find in the Bible or coming from the Middle East are either similar to the European stories or just are clearly rewritten for a different purpose, different narrative,
to a different lens.
Yeah, I mean, I'm personally a big fan of Carl Gustav Jung, and then especially his work on the archetypes. Because I mean, the Norse pantheon is such a clear example of the archetypes.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that's
with that in mind. Yeah.
I mean, Wotan is, he's a trickster. He is the magician. He's the wanderer. You have, Loki as well, a trickster. Thor. I mean, he's the protector. That's why it and like, I'm not saying that they're not real because of that, because they they embody the the archetypes, but it helps better understand explorer, rebel, lover, creator. I mean, Odin, he is also a creator. It is, of course, Freya, who is the ultimate lover, if you will. Then again, there is a form of Odin, Od, who is one of the lovers of Freya, which is also talked about in Nightsight of the Runes.
And then it says, like, if you go and look at like these ancient Germanic kings, I guess you call it a pantheon or like a family tree, they all descend from some dude named Woden.
Yeah. They all trace their lineage back to Woden, Odin, Wotan.
Which goes to say, like, when these kings, I don't know, man, it seems like all these kings had some kind of sickness or disease that caused them all to die young. And it's like, I don't know, they're fighting against their own brothers and against who is supposedly the guy who was the progenitor of their race.
He is the All Father.
The same spirit. So it's like, I don't know if that was a curse in itself for some English kings. A lot of them were sick, right? They had these diseases. They didn't live past like 25.
The Wotanic spirit it's a very strong one. And yeah, if you're trying to capture the Wotanic spirit, if you're trying to channel the Wotanic spirit, but you're not of sufficient strength, and also he is a god of the elites, god of the higher class. He doesn't deal with peasants. So everyone who says like, oh, I'm such a man of Odin, it's like, very much doubt it. I mean, unless you are that scholar, unless you are this like big brain kind of guy, because he was all about wisdom, he was all about knowledge, and or if you are
is knowledge of the divine, right?
Ultimate wisdom. Like, he sacrificed so much for it. He sacrificed an eye for true vision. He sacrificed himself to himself. That was the final sacrifice to to understand the runes. So everyone who just thinks that like, oh, I can work with Odin. I don't like work with, but I can take the Wotanic energy. No, you can't. No, you can't. You have to be of either like actual elite class, or have worked yourself up to like elite class or elite magician. Because like I said, I have felt the Votanic energy. It is so strong. It is so condensed. It made me feel so uncomfortable that I had to step off. I had to literally take a step back.
I heard it's a very anxious energy. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very it's a very erratic, ecstatic energy. Odin battlefield diplomacy is basically kill them before they kill us.
Yeah, that's it. The law of the land, dude. It seems like that's natural law, natural order. Yeah. So, if we're living out of that natural order, I just take a look at where humanity is today, right? I just, and I'm not telling people to abandon their faith and go and practice, but like, I don't think it's healthy or wise for us to view our ancestors as these people who venerated demons, and that we come from this lineage of fallen beings, and that we can only bring ourselves up through this one class of people, right? This one, and I don't feel that to be true in my soul, right? Like I'm experiencing that right now on my own spiritual journey, and my audience has seen me go through this for the past 2 years, and I've told everybody, I'm learning. This is a learning experience, and it is what it is. This is my path, no one else's. So because there's things I've taken, teachings from Christ and things from that culture, that you can take with you that I think are good, especially for people who are, when I first, I back when I was an atheist and I was spiritually dead, you know what I mean? That's something that brought me up out of my own darkness and helped me. But I always viewed it through this esoteric lens. And so it's brought me to where I am today, right? I don't think there's any mistake in that. And I don't think that anything has taken me off my path. I think this is my path, especially understanding this stuff and helping other, European people of European descent understand that, is that you don't need to be ashamed of where you come from. And we can still,
it's our
have
strength.
some of our, our ancient traditions and practices and be proud of it, because it's made us who we are today.
But
right.
You still kind of practice it, unknowingly, perhaps, at least through the holidays, and the customs around the holidays. Those come from, from the ancient traditions.
That's the elite, William. That's not us. I'm talking about, the people here on this panel, the people watching the show. They'll tell us all day that we're fallen, right? And then they'll give us the cure.
Yeah.
Don't look inside yourself though, right? That's all I'm saying. Is that we have to look outside of the box, to truly understand what is even inside the box.
You know what I think is even just like another issue with that. I feel like a lot of this stuff, when you want to start blaming everything's on demons and shit, you're kind of really giving yourself a pass on acting like a piece of shit. I feel like it's like also no, you don't have to. I don't know.
No,
I'm trying to think of the right wording. It's almost like you take less responsibility for your own actions now, or have humanity's actions. It's demon. I don't know. It's kind of fucking.
If it's always some outside force that is to blame, you don't have to take your own responsibility. You don't have to. You don't have to. You don't have to grow. You don't have to do the inner work. You don't have to do the inner alchemy. If you can just always blame the bad stuff on on something else, on some outside force. Or even, talking about demons like demonic possession, some outside force coming in. Oh, I was possessed. I didn't know what I was doing, and therefore it's not my fault. I was possessed. I was not me. So I'm not to blame. It's still something else that inhabited me, but it wasn't me.
Right.
Right.
And that's another thing that, that my ancestral ways or our ancestral ways really tell you, like, don't go blame it on some outside force. Take responsibility. Go on the hero's journey. Go on the botanic journey. find out who you are, but do it yourself. Do the inner work. Do the inner alchemy. Sacrifices are gonna be necessary. You're gonna have to. You're gonna have to cut off some parts. But as long as in the end you're better off for it, then the end justifies the means.
That's beautiful, man. Stijn, this was a great conversation. We're getting close to 2 hours in. I don't want to keep you for too long. And Nick, I don't know, do you have another show today, Nick?
I actually don't have anything this weekend. I might go on Web of Mysteries later. I think he might be doing something, but I don't have anything for myself, actually. I have so much shit I got to work on, but I mean, I can go on stuff. I'm just not trying to make any new shows.
Okay. Well,
and I got to get to work. I'm working the night shifts.
There we go. Well,
Oh,
you froze
sorry.
up.
Yeah, I'll just.
You're good.
Keep camera off for now. It wasn't
brother,
the most charming picture that is frozen.
I was gonna say I don't know where your fan club is, man. You usually have a fan club here that loves seeing you. But Stijn, tell people again where they can find you and what you have, if there's anything that you have coming, and we'll have to get you back on the show soon. If not, get you on the Occult Rejects soon, definitely.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You can find me on YouTube, youtube.com/@Stijn Fawkes. That is where I post most of the content. I'm trying to do more on Patreon, patreon.com/Greyhorn Pagans. There you can get early access to all the podcasts I post. Bonus content there, a lot of the stories of the Netherlands as well, because I really want to keep it closer to home. Speaking of ancestors and ancestral stories, that's why Patreon book club, where we are currently reading Night Sight of the Runes, and all of that you can just find on our home, our hub, greyhornpagans.com. That's our website. Everything should be on there, and if it's not, it will be soon.
All right, brother. Yeah, y'all go over there, follow Stijn. He's a friend of Greypilled, and we'll have many more conversations hopefully after this, man. This was a great episode.
I'm sure we will.
Absolutely. Nick, tell people where they can find you and what you got coming, man. If there's any events you're going to be at soon, or
I don't think any events.
Any solo episodes you got dropping.
26th of April, I might record. I'm going to go see regardless. Ike Baker and this dude Colin are speaking at some symposium in Asheville, North Carolina. I might be filming that. We still have to find out what the deal is with that. So that I might be going to. But regardless, I'm going anyway. So that is an event. But besides that, I got a couple of shows I'm working on. Sacred Geometry in religious and spiritual places. I got that. Then I have that stuff specific on a few places around the world where even the somatics and the archaeoacoustics, all that shit, places that you walk into and it's trying to fucking change the way you feel and think. Stuff that affect your vagus nerve. Really interesting shit. And then I do have I thought it was interesting from kind of getting into that. Then I do have another show that I'm working on all these things at the same time. Showing the occult architecture in Christian churches.
Oh,
yeah.
I talked about that when I went to Lexington, Virginia, and we went into that one church, and there was the pyramid on the podium with the eye in it, and it's pretty cool to see. All right, well, guys, catch me later, 7:00 on the Veritas Road. I think I'm streaming it to my channel at 7 Central.
Nice.
Yeah, man. Yes, it's gonna be fun. Follow me on Twitter, X @GreypilledPod, Instagram Greypilled_podcast, YouTube, Rumble, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Get me to 1,000 on YouTube, please. Start getting them super chats in, and Patreon.com/GreypilledPodcast if you want to support the show. We have Gods of the Morning Wood, 9:00 tomorrow morning Central. Occult symbolism of animals, and I believe we'll probably be doing maybe birds and mammals or something. And then the Western esoteric, the adepts in the Western esoteric tradition, part 7 or 8, I believe. So, and then 4 o'clock Central tomorrow, we got Brandon, fellow occult reject from Magus in the Media, coming on. And then Thursday, I don't know what time off the top of my head, but we have Aeon Bite coming on. Miguel Connor, Aeon Bite. Yeah, man.
Awesome.
Talk about Gnosticism and the demiurge and stuff. It's gonna be fun. But yeah, guys, I'll see y'all later. And go over here before we get out of here. Let me share. I moved everything from Shopify over to the Printify. So you go over there. I just put the new Sabazius Hand of Sabazius shirt. If it would load, it's there we go. Hand of Sabazius shirt on there.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah, it's just shout out Subliminal Messenger, man. He redid it and made it purple for the Greypilled. Got a lot of cool stuff on here. An actual Volsunga Saga shirt. Don't tell anybody. But
good stuff.
Gods of the Morningwood. Yeah. Gonna keep uploading designs, more so some Elohim etymology, some stickers, mugs. I'm putting in an order tonight, probably here in a minute. Finally get to wear my own merch. But y'all go over there. And until next time, everybody, fear nothing, question everything, and stay Greypilled, guys.
Okay.
We'll see you later.
We got Jules from Greypilled Podcast joining us tonight as well. What is up, Jules? You're muted, bud. Sorry, you're muted. He's like, fuck, I got to start all over again.
Oh, thank you, Nick. I'm always muted.
Jules, you crushed it. Thank you so much for coming on.
Let's bring in Greypilled. Sir, how are you?
What's going on, man?
Do you know what an egregore is?
And all of a sudden, she's saying things that start to make less and less sense to me.
You have this legacy now as the handsome faggot.
Buy a Phrygian cap, fear nothing, and question everything, guys.
Yes.
Stay Greypilled. Inky wasn't directly his son, since he was an egg birth and came from like an asexual reproduction.
Best way I can put it is she shapeshifted into a reptilian.
Did you say egg?
Yeah.
She grew like almost a couple of feet tall, turned green, scales, big ass teeth, yellow eyes. Dude, I practically shit myself.
Hey, we're conspiracy theorists here, guys. This is Greypilled. This isn't Timcast.
Yeah.
Okay. Good morning and welcome back to the Greypilled Podcast. I am your host, Jules, the Mississippi Mystic, the Elohim etymologist, the sound scientist. Guys, be sure to like the stream. Don't be a faggot.
I look behind me. There's like this 6 foot tall reptilian in my ex-girlfriend's nightgown chasing me down the hall. You don't love me anymore. The sky outside was blood red, and I'm like, oh shit, did I die?
Animalistic, carnal nature that's inside of you. It's keeping it at bay, right? It's stepping on Typhon as Hermes.
It's the Greypilled Podcast, dropping jewels with Jules on the Greypilled Podcast. Time to school all these fools on the Greypilled Podcast.
Welcome to the Greypilled Podcast.